Oh my goodness. It was only one day with Paul, but I'm here with Cirillo. I'm so excited. It's Wednesday. So we're talking about sales climbing and Qualcomm and Canva and all that stuff. I'm just too excited.
You went thick. You were like, yo.
I just paused. Just stopped. I apologize.
I wish I could say I have that effect on people. I get them all excited. Usually
I was excited. I was like, how am I going to introduce Cirillo today? It's been so long since you've been on the show with me, I feel like.
What better way than to let everyone know we called each other late last night to coordinate our outfits?
Look at that. We both wore the Love People shirt. Imagine that. I tell people all the time, actually, I get this. So on that church on Sunday, I get messed with so hard that like everybody will be like, look, I matched Kyle today. And they're like, well, I kind of knew that was going to happen because I just put on a black shirt. You know?
It's like a broken clock is right twice a day. They're like, if I at least wear a black something today, I'll match Kyle.
I'm matching Kyle. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, before we get started today, we've got like this, one thing that we love to do here at ASOTU is just produce content because we never know what content you need right now when you need it. So we've just got a lot coming at you. We've got a whole bunch of In the Dirt episodes of a podcast called In the Dirt that we have. We were at NAMAD, the Minority Auto Dealers Association event a couple weeks ago, and we got to sit down with Kielan Whitner. He is a 2024 40 under 40 winner, Automotive News, and it was a really cool interview. Like this guy played college ball and is now a GM at a dealership, and just has a unique perspective on how to grow, build, and lead teams. So you're going to want to check that out. We have a lot of great content sitting over there. And then we got a ASOTU Edge quick shot webinar next Wednesday, September 12th, all about the title department, which I don't think I ever thought we would do a webinar on the title department, Cirillo. But here we are doing a webinar on the title department, but it's like a massive CSI thing. It definitely helps out. You've got your hands dirty with a little bit of dealership life, and you're realizing how critical the title department actually probably is. So,
what's crazy about this? Like you're talking about this, and I've had this happen before, but it's like this sinking in aha moment of, we went out. It's like whatever you focus on, you find. And what I mean by that is we've gone out to industry events. We've gone out into the industry, into dealerships, into dealer groups. And what we're realizing is that this industry is so jam-packed of amazing people that are making a positive impact, that want to leave a positive legacy. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't know that it was going to be this big, like,
right,
that there would be this many people. So you're talking about 40 under 40 winners and hearing their philosophies and mindsets, and you're like, oh, another one, another one. And these are people that I think typically are just going about their day-to-day life in their habitat and their ecosystem. And so it's so exciting that we get to find these people and highlight them and show just the broad scope of how awesome this industry is.
Yeah, I mean, you just think about, like, we talk about 17,000 franchise dealerships. There's, depending on how you count it, anywhere between 25,000 and 50,000 independents, right? Yeah. The leaders at each of those, the employees at each of those, the tech partners of each of those, the services partners of each of those, the OEMs that are a part of each of those, and each of those are attempting to lead and live lives of purpose that are all like wrapped up in this retail auto industry. And we're just telling the story. We're just helping them tell their story. Really, like, we're helping you tell your story. That's it, right? It's not our story to tell. It's your story. So that's why we do all this content. That's why we share these stories. So
it runs deep. Like, you gotta think, there's people in our industry that were responsible for bringing the Saturn Ion to market.
That's deep. That's deep, Cirillo. You had to go cut them like that. Oh, well, speaking of bringing stuff to market.
Segue.
Time. All right. Lots of OEMs bringing some significant stuff to market as far as just sales are concerned. The auto industry is poised to post its highest volume sales of the year in August, projected to rise by, get this, 7 to 8%, thanks to strong demand from specifically crossovers and hybrids, as well as Labor Day discounts and a couple extra selling days ending on a Saturday. You know, all the good stuff that in August comes with 5 Saturday month. Here were the winners. Hyundai sales surged 22%. Led by an 81% increase in hybrid models, with the Santa Fe up 120%, Tucson up 97%, and Kia's sales grew 4.3%. So Kia and Hyundai really leading the way. Their day supply is at 68 days, already up 54 from a year ago. So, you know, some people, that I've been talking to are like, hey, look, a little bit of day supply isn't bad because you get available inventory, which customers want options when they're looking at new cars. Their average incentives are $3,035 per vehicle, up 60% from 2023, and only 13% of vehicles were projected to sell above sticker last month. Average transaction prices for the industry landed at $44,000, down a little under $2,000 from August 2023. So pricing parity is coming back. The SAAR forecast is 15. It has gone up from 15.2 million to 15.4 million for August, in line with last year, but down from July's pace. Chris Hopson of S&P Global Mobility cited high interest rates and slowing vehicle prices, saying the new vehicle affordability still remains the biggest obstacle to growth. So there is, exciting news. Like, August was good. I heard a lot of good going on in August, but still, like, not as fast a pace as maybe we would want because of affordability.
Hey, but those new Santa Fe's, whoever's redesigning these Hyundai vehicles is knocking it out of the park, if I may say so.
Look, I will say it is like a totally different vehicle than what you would expect.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That's what I love about
turned
it.
into Martin Short, I must say.
I must say. Yeah. No, the Santa Fe, I mean, Hyundai they've been kind of like leading the charge in net new, the Ioniq series and just what they're doing with hybrids and electric vehicles. Like, they're not missing right now.
No, they're not missing. Those are sexy.
There's no segue.
I don't know. I'm like, how's he going to segue out of segue?
Stop. As cars evolve into rolling supercomputers, we're talking about chip makers a little bit more. Qualcomm, Nvidia, and Mobileye are at the forefront, competing to supply the technology that will drive the next generation of vehicles. This is wild. Qualcomm's automotive revenue actually surged 87% to $811 million in Q2, thanks to its focus on connectivity, its digital chassis platform that is supporting a lot of the in-cabin tech and driver assist functions. Nvidia, on the other hand, reported $346 million in automotive-specific revenue, a 37% year-over-year increase. So both up significantly, even though Qualcomm is kind of leading the way. Mobileye is doing a lot of the driver assist, computer vision technology, posted a $430 million Q2 automotive revenue, a 3% decline. And mainly a lot of that decline is because of challenges in the Chinese market. Qualcomm is customizing a lot of vehicles for automakers like GM, BMW, and Volvo. Nakul Dougal, general manager for the company's automotive, industrial, and cloud business, says it's exciting in some ways, but we're doing what we said we'd do. So Qualcomm leading the way. I have, just real quick before you comment on this, this is interesting. I was actually on a plane with our lead videographer for More Than Cars. His name is Jim. They do the Qualcomm event every single year. It's similar to the Apple like WWDC event, and it's out in Hawaii. He was like, oh, we've been filming these like crazy screens for the last 3 to 4 years for product releases, but Qualcomm is definitely leaning into the automotive landscape. And I had no clue that they were leaning in this hard. Kind of wild.
Nerds unite, like, I mean, like, this is awesome. And it's exciting actually to see There's an undercurrent that I don't think a lot of people understand about how our industry moves and how many, let's call it outside eyes, are looking at our industry. How do I get in? How do I get in? In my entire career now in automotive, we're talking like almost 23, close to 24 years now. I've only met 2 people that are like, you need to get out of automotive. And then you look at all of these massive companies, like you're saying Qualcomm's pipeline valued at 45 billion, right? Like these are big companies and they're all like, no, how do I get into this space? And so that tells me something about the future of our industry. People are really, really paying attention, and I think it's just a good bet. It's a good place to invest.
I think like from the front line, what does this mean for me? You know, we've seen Nvidia in the news a significant amount of times for their supercomputers. A lot of their chips are being used for AI modeling because of the power of them. Qualcomm is being used in the majority of the world's devices outside of Apple. And, you know, these are not small names. And so consumers are also thinking about, they're like recognizing that the chips that are used, you know, Apple's kind of created this demand for what's the chip inside my phone, right?
Right.
So like consumers are going to want to know, like down to what chips are used in the computer systems that are on board this car, right? That's now like a value proposition to someone that's interested in the tech inside the vehicle. It's not just what does the screen say, it's what type of performance does the computer on board this computer on wheels have. So it's important to know on the front lines, like what is your manufacturer utilizing when it comes to chips across its vehicle. It's not just like, oh yeah, it's got a bunch of computers with chips anymore. Like consumers have been trained to acknowledge the type of chips that are going into their devices because it's important to the performance of those devices. This is just another device.
True. Well, hey, speaking of chips, computers, and AI,
time.
Chips, because I like potato chips, and that's no secret.
Got him.
Speaking of AI, though, speaking of AI, I posted on LinkedIn or Facebook, one of my socials, I posted a picture of me with my motorcycle. And people were like, dude, cool photo. And I was like, yes, except that wasn't the shirt I was wearing. I don't have tattoos. The shoes I was really wearing were white, and my motorcycle didn't have this, but now it does. And I, through generative AI, had drawn in and typed in what I wanted to replace, and it did, and nobody could tell the difference. And well, hey, Canva's aggressive integration of generative AI tools is driving up prices for its Canva team subscription by over 300%, leaving many users facing significant cost increases as the platform expands its offerings. Canva Teams users in the US report prices jumping from $120 to $500 annually, while Australian users are seeing a 68% price hike.
Unreal.
Whew. I mean, they're realizing how expensive Canva was like, wait, this whole AI thing's expensive. All these tokens? What the price increases follow the rollout of AI tools like Magic Media and Magic Expand, which Canva claims add value to the platform's expanded product experience. And the new pricing has merged many users, some of whom are considering switching to Adobe or other alternatives. I mean, good news for Adobe.
Yeah, right.
The changes come as Canva prepares for a potential public listing in 2026, following its acquisition of Affinity's creative software suite. So Canva's making moves.
It's making moves. You know, it's wild. Like I remember when like 90% of Canva users I knew were on free plans, and then everyone was like, you know, the $4.99 is worth it, right? Like the $4.99 a month for the premium, you know, the premium stuff, and then that $4.99 went to $7.99 and then $8.99, and now you can add AI tools, and you've just got these like massive leaps in the cost, and you start to see costs that are much more similar to Adobe's suite of products. When you look at like buying the entire suite on a monthly package for a personal package or something like that. And you know, Adobe obviously has a much more broad suite of stuff, and they're injecting AI at probably a little bit higher level of performance. So it's going to be interesting whether or not they can keep up. Obviously, it's browser based. It's a little more accessible for the light designer. just so you know, like, just we use Canva internally for some of our stuff. We use a lot of Adobe stuff, but we use Canva, for some repeatable stuff with ASOTU. And our producers, he was like, I use this regularly, but the AI is nice, but it's still not that integrated and not that quick. The images come out a little bit rough, so the cost may not be totally worth it from the Canva side. Is Nathan's hot take on Canva's price increase?
Yeah, and I gotta wonder where we are on this whole bell curve, because everything starts out expensive, then it gets democratized, then it gets really cheap, but it kind of gives us an indication of where the future is headed. I don't think anybody in the AI space right now really thinks that this is going to happen in the next year, where there's going to be broad adoption, but it's going to be like our generation got in. It's kind of like cell phones, right? I mean, like, we all still remember payphones.
Yep.
We all still remember the first cell phone, but here we are 30 years later, now everybody's got it. And so it's kind of like, how do you anticipate right now? There is more population in the world who will never touch an AI offering than that will touch it in this generation. But it shows you where things are headed. It shows you that our kids, like, the adoption for our kids is going to be AI everything, and what are the implications of that on schoolwork? And
well, everybody with an iPhone is going to be touching it here soon.
Yeah, so I've got it because I'm here's a Canadian word for you, a keener, and I have to get the developer beta.
You got the developer beta. I was scared this time. I felt a little bit dicey, so I just have the regular beta.
That's merited. That's merited.
All right, well, that's it for us today. I'm telling you what, we went through a few nerdy things, a few exciting things. Hey, August was a good month. Keep that month rolling. Doesn't mean you have to stop. It doesn't mean the fall has to pull back. Let's go serve some people.